Britain's first Prime Minister to have broken the law while in office has once again apologised for violating the rules. It was UK Premier Boris Johnson's first address to the House of Commons after he was penalised for the Partygate scandal. Despite the apology, Johnson faced opposition calls to quit for the sake of integrity in politics. Admitting his mistake, Johnson offered an unreserved apology. However, along with the apology, Johnson reiterated that he did not think that he had done anything wrong at the time. The Premier said that he did not know a birthday gathering at the height of the pandemic was in breach of the rules. Notably, he was referring to the rules that were set by Johnson himself. Now, Boris Johnson also said that the British public had a right to expect better of their Prime Minister and that he had already changed the way Number 10 operates. Remember, Boris Johnson was fined by the police last week after an internal inquiry found Downing Street held alcohol-fueled parties which were attended by Boris Johnson. This was at a time when people in the UK were not allowed to attend funerals or even to visit the sick. Police have investigated 12 gatherings in Downing Street, and the Prime Minister could be fined yet again.
Let me begin in all humility by saying that on the 12th of April, I received a fixed penalty notice relating to an event in Downing Street on the 19th of June 2020. I paid the fine immediately and I offered the British people a full apology. And I take this opportunity on the first available sitting day to repeat my wholehearted apology to the House.
Meanwhile, Boris Johnson's apology was called a joke by opposition. Opposition lawmakers cornered Johnson on misleading claims about not breaking any rules. Leader of the opposition, Keir Starmer, called Johnson dishonest and said that people do not believe him anymore. Starmer also accused Johnson of deflecting his apology with news about the conflict in Ukraine. Urging him to resign, he said the Prime Minister had the chance to bring decency, honesty and integrity back into politics. Opposition lawmakers argue that the Prime Minister repeatedly lied to Parliament when he said all lockdown guidelines had been met.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Lawmakers will now vote on Thursday on whether Johnson should be referred to Parliament's Privileges Committee for an inquiry. Under the Ministerial Code, knowingly misleading Parliament is an offence that should result in resignation. The key Commons vote on Thursday will clash with Boris Johnson's visit to India. Now, despite pressure to cancel the visit so he can attend Thursday's debate, the Prime Minister is seeking to push ahead with his visit to India, while there are other reports which claim that cancelling the India trip is under consideration. Previously, Boris Johnson's two of the planned visits to India have been cancelled. First, over the UK's winter wave of COVID infections. Second, in April last year, in response to a new variant hitting India. Now, for more on this, joining us live from London is our correspondent, Chris Jones. Hello to you, Chris. Now, the key Commons vote on Thursday will clash with British PM's visit to India. Do you think that this will impact his two-day visit to India?
Well, as you said, this is a trip that's been planned for a while, and the UK is facing many other issues as well as this Partygate scandal, including the recovery from COVID-19 and, of course, the energy crisis at the moment. And this trip to India is something that Boris Johnson is very keen on going ahead. He said that as we face threats to our peace and prosperity from autocratic states, it's vital that democracies and friends stick together. So he very much wants to go to India to talk about economic trade and how the two countries can come together. Now, there will, of course, be critics who say that he should stay in the UK and defend his cause. We, of course, heard those apologies on Tuesday, and the Labour Party was extremely critical of that. But nevertheless, the Prime Minister will probably travel to India to talk about economic ties there, and the debate will go ahead without him. So I think it will unlikely have an impact on the debate and the resulting vote. So we'll just really have to see how that one pans out.
Right, and Chris, there is growing calls for Johnson to resign with the key Commons vote on Thursday. What are the chances for the UK Prime Minister to face a no confidence vote?
Well, it's a tricky one, really. The Labour Party had called for a vote of no confidence. That would have to be put forward by the Leader of the House, Sir Lindsay Hoyle. If he was to put Labour's suggestion forward, the chances of that being successful are quite unlikely, because as it stands, Boris Johnson still has quite a big majority of support from within his own party. Now, what we do have going up in the UK is the May local elections. Now, that will be a real test for the government on public confidence. If those elections are catastrophic, really, for the Conservative Party, we could see more Tory backbenchers and ministers come forward and say that they no longer support Boris Johnson's leadership and put forward a vote of no confidence. If that does happen, we'll see a vote for a new leader, which Johnson could actually still run for. It's still... we don't know if that's going to happen just yet. It's still at the rumour stage. So we'll have to see after May the 5th to see what this impact of the Partygate scandal has had on the Conservative Party.
And Chris, just quickly, do you think that Boris Johnson's absence will then affect the vote on Thursday?
I don't think so. I think the vote will go forward as planned without him. It's a good opportunity for members of Parliament to debate whether Boris Johnson did actually knowingly mislead Parliament or not. Angela Rayner, the deputy leader of the Labour Party, says that any reasonable person in Johnson's position at that time would have known what was going on because of the sheer number of parties that were reported to have taken place. So I don't think Johnson's absence will affect the vote. That will obviously take place on Thursday. We're not sure what the outcome will be just yet, but one thing is for sure, there's certainly no real party atmosphere within the Conservative Party at the moment, and Johnson's leadership really does hang in the balance right now.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for joining us for all the latest.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.